Okay, we got rid of Tom Thibodeau and we got Mike Brown in. Still the same team. The New York Knicks is the name. We got a different offense running, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. Here to talk about us getting to the championship, but first, us getting to the playoffs. And we have to make a strong push right now. There's rumors going around that it's four teams trying to get Giannis right now. And what is it? The Kings, Miami Heat, I think the Lakers, and the Knicks, if I'm correct. Now, being a Knicks supporter, I'm going to be straight up and down. I don't want Miami to get that. Because they, what, 8th place in the East? I hope they make the playoffs too, you know. But the West Coast teams, I don't really too much care about them because they're not in our conference, and I don't really care about them until the playoff time comes. So I don't really worry about West Coast teams, even though we need to beat them when the regular season comes, certain teams. And I must just say this. Like everybody is rumored to say now, that's making blogs about basketball and the Knicks. Everybody is in the hunt for Giannis because it came out a few days ago that he wants to be traded out of Milwaukee. Now, you got so much different trade rumors going on, and one joint that I didn't like is them saying giving up Cat and OG for Giannis. Like, I ride with my team, but I ain't gonna give up OG and Anobi and Cat for Giannis. Like, Giannis is a dog, but we give up OG, we losing major defense. And I'm not saying that Giannis can't hold the paint down, but we need Wingstop, you know? Like, a lot of people been getting on Mikal Bridges, but to be honest with you, Mikal Bridges been one of our best players this year. Like, yeah, for the past few games, he had a little here and there, but the other day, he played good. And I respect Mikal Bridges' game, because one thing I respect about him too, Mikal Bridges got over 500 games of starting and ain't never been, injured, so he's like a Cal Ripkins of basketball in this modern day, over 500 games. I can't remember the official number, but I know it's over 500 games of not being injured since he came into the NBA. And if I'm correct, that's like 6 years and more, so respect to him to that. But the major deal is right now, some teams in the NBA is hunting for Cat. And as I say, I don't really care about the Lakers and Sacramento. I really care about if Miami will try to make a push, more than the Knicks. And the Knicks over the years, we had a lot of big trades. And to be honest with you, things are a work in progress and a process, excuse me. I believe in Leon Rose and what he gonna do, but it's just that feeling that you get like if we trade for Giannis and we get him and it don't pan out, was that a waste? If we keep Cat on the team right now, what are we doing? Because if the Knicks don't win the championship this year, it's a bust. Because what are we going to do? Come back next year and be wondering and hoping? Like, we can't do that. Like Jalen Brunson, you the captain of the team, you the leader. Josh Hart, you know, Josh Hart is a good player. A lot of people sleep on Josh Hart. He's a good player. He's a good player. But I'm going to always say this. We need to tighten up on our defense and we need to play consistently. Because if we do that, I believe we can win. And to be honest with you, if we could trade other players other than I take Cat out and I don't know, they gonna want to throw Deuce in if you trade Cat. It's gonna be a lot of different rumors and the rumors only gonna come true until it happens. But Giannis don't want to be in Milwaukee no more. He don't want to be in Milwaukee no more, and a lot of Knicks fans and supporters are happy, but let's pump our brakes because we really got a lot to deal with in New York. We got a lot to deal with in the Garden because look at how Detroit playing. They still on the top of the East, and as a basketball watcher and supporter, and then being a Knicks supporter, they balling. And it ain't how you start in the sport, but it's how you finish. And just because they have a good record right now, don't mean they will win the Eastern Conference, because the Eastern Conference, it was looking bad because of Boston. People were saying that they was going to have a bad record, but look at them. Jalen Brown playing. Boston is playing. And it ain't about the name. This is like in sports, when you really play, it's about the fight. And Boston is fighting harder for champion. They fighting. Because Tatum not there, but everybody else doing their job on the team. Next man up. That's how Boston is playing. You know, and all of this is what we need to do as the Knicks. But we got problems where I watched Cat on the bench the other day, and to be honest, he do feel out of place on the team. He do feel out of place, and he said it. He don't know his role on the team. He's our best scoring big man, but a lot of people like to call Cat soft, and he is a little, soft. You got to stop that offensive fouling. To be honest with you, he has to stop hooking people's hand around his hand and trying to drive to the lane. When I watch some games, he get caught with that 2 to 3 times with offensive fouls. And then you're always falling on the floor. Like, as a big man, you need to stop that. Because you came to the Knicks for a reason, to win a championship. And if you don't find your place on this team, there's no need for you to be on this team. Because it'll just be a waste of you being on the Knicks. To me, Mike Brown should find Cat's position on the team. Because outside of Cat, what other big man do we got that's going to score? Diawara or Porty? Pacone Daddier? These are still young boys. Cat is a veteran. Been in the NBA for more than 10 years. And he's supposed to know the ropes of the NBA, tricks and the trades of playing in the NBA, of not getting fouls in certain games or in certain ways. But people don't see it, and a lot of people do see it. These fouls, and even on the defensive side, is hindering his game. And it's hurting his game heavy. Because Cat is a good offensive player. But with all of these fouls, you see how fouls are defining his games, and people watching him fall on the floor, complaining. All of that is a recipe to get you kicked out of New York, and that's how the vibes is going right now. Like, Cat is like axing his way out of New York, because if he's not, and we keep this same team, we're going to go down in the playoffs the same way. Because don't think some miracle going to happen when we keep this same team and we go into the playoffs and we go against people like Boston, that we're going to survive a 7-game series. We wouldn't survive. So we can hold all the team meetings we want. Team meeting ain't going to do nothing unless it really comes true. Like, I don't know. Some people will say we're going to turn it up in the playoffs, but the regular season many times tells a lot of how you're going to play into the playoffs. And we let a lot of bad teams beat us that we should have won those games. It was good the other day that we beat Toronto. We supposed to beat Toronto. That's lunch meat. Easy. I want teams like the Detroit Pistons and the Lakers, just to beat the Lakers, because it's New York. I want teams like OKC. Those are teams that I want to beat. Denver. These are teams that we need to beat. Kings as well, too, because I don't like when we lose to the Kings. That's like, Kings used to be one of my West Coast teams, but that I liked. Because to be honest with you, how a lot of people like the Lakers, I respect the Lakers' history, and, I will say, in my opinion, Kobe Bryant is the best Laker, hands down. I don't care how nobody else feels. Kobe Bryant is the best Laker I've seen in my lifetime. Always respect his game. Played with his number 2. Number 8 was my number in junior high. So, Kobe is always, Kobe always been a monster. But I liked that the Sacramento Kings, when they had that good team with Chris Webber, Ego Turkoglu, Peja Stojakovic, Keon Clark. Bobby Jackson, you know, Mike Bibby. Forgetting the other power forward and center that they had other than Keon Clark, Chris Webber, and somebody that came. I forgot the Dag. He used to play on the Lakers, man. He used to play on the Lakers. The center for the Kings in Sacramento, Vlade Divac. Vlade Divac is one of the most slept on centers. He could pass. Vlade Divac know how to spread the dime, you know. He was one of my favorite players back then in the early 2000s. You know, he was a good player. Just like old school Sabonis. They used to play for the Trailblazers. You know, I remember when the Trailblazers used to get the Bulls trouble in the 90s. Even though most of the times the Bulls got past them, I remember sometimes in the regular season the Trailblazers was giving them problems. I don't know, man. Like, 90s basketball was just different watching it. It was different. You know, people really, they really put it out there. You know, like, J.R. Ryder was good, you know. Timberwolves, J.R. Ryder. You know, young Stephon was good too. Stephon Marbury. You know, Iverson. You know, shout out to Clyde Drexler, you know. Even like some of the Knicks players, you know, always some of my favorite Knicks players of all times, you know. Gotta always give it up to Clyde Frazier, Willis Reed, you know. Those is like, I got a lot of favorite Knicks players, but you gotta respect the OGs, you know. You gotta respect Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed, you know. Willis Reed, one of the greatest players in the NBA, you know. And if I remember correct, the story of when he hurt his foot that time, and Clyde said all we needed to see was the captain, and he gave us that energy, you know. That was real Knicks Nation back then, you know. Like, and you know, respect to the Knicks captains, you know, because three memorable captains that I could remember for the Knicks, you know, that I give respect to, you know, is, what is it? I don't even know if officially if Willis was a captain, but like Clyde said, you know, like he was the leader back then, so I give him that captain role. But I don't know if the Knicks officially put him as a captain. To be honest, don't mark me on that. But you know, Patrick Ewing, you know, because the team rode with him, and Patrick Ewing, like growing up, man, Patrick Ewing put New York on his back. Even though he didn't win a championship for us, you know, that number 33 jersey. And I had a pair of Patrick Ewing's when I was little in the Bronx too, you know. I forgot the series model, but the black and white joints. You know, Patrick Ewing held New York on his back for a long time. And if I'm correct, when we drafted him, 1985, still respect Patrick Ewing as one of the best players in the NBA. Not on the Knicks, but in the NBA. Patrick Ewing was a monster. Big up the Yardie. Man, Patrick wasn't no joke. Could it shoot or dunk on you like crazy or block your joint, and now Jalen Brunson is the new captain. And see, a lot of people that be fans and supporters, they don't really like to tell the truth because they're like to like talk about the good and won't even talk about the badness that we do. And I understand that a lot of times I do criticize Jalen Brunson a lot. Sorry, Boston. Excuse me, Knicks. I do criticize him a lot of being the captain and being the point guard. And sometimes I'll be like, man, I may be wrong, but I'm not wrong because I grew up in New York City where I seen some of the best street ballers. And when you playing basketball, you take it there. You take it to a limit where some of the other players ain't on your level. And if Jalen Brunson want to be that top player as he's supposed to be, and he's a good player, but be honest, you need to learn how to spread the ball more. I'm going to always keep saying that because you are the leader. You are the point guard of the team, and on the court, things start with you. So, can't leave it there, but how we're going to go into the playoffs. Because Caden for Detroit, Caden stepped his game up. Yeah, Jalen Brunson is shooting more threes and getting open threes this year, but I don't see an upgrade in his game. Is it just me? Because, yeah, you got crafty footwork, but let's be honest, where's the upgrade? Because Mike Brown's system is different than Tom Thibodeau's. Yes, we are spraying threes, as Mike Brown liked to say, but to be honest with you, as we spray more threes, sometimes I say we let our defense go. Yeah, we held Toronto Raptors to 92 the other day. We need to hold a lot of more teams under 100 because defense been one thing that hurt the Knicks for a long time. This is why we need players like Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, OG, no Deuce. We need defensive stoppers. Mikal Bridges when he on. We need defensive stoppers. Porty and them, they got to step up. Diawara got to step up. Pacome Daddier got to step up. Tyler Collett got to step up. The bench got to step up. Landry Shamet, that's my boy. I like number 44. Landry play hard, man. He play tough. But the team got to step up because after the All-Star break in February, we have a tough schedule. And even though it could be a tough schedule, to be honest with you, these are the teams in the I like tough schedules with the Knicks because this is what's going to test us going into the playoffs. This is what's going to really make us see who we are. Thank you for this live. Bless to everybody. Let's go Knicks.